Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. It's Wednesday, September 16th. I'm Stephanie Haney. I've got your top headlines from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Thank you very much for choosing to be here to get filled in on what's impacting you here in Northeast Ohio. Now, let's get you up to speed. We've got those new numbers in from the Ohio Department of Health, and with today's new daily reported cases, Ohio has now broken 140,000 for the number of reported COVID-19 cases in the state. New cases are up slightly, still over 1,000, and new deaths are down, but still a relatively high number when you look at the numbers that we've seen from day to day. So let's get into those specific numbers right now. In the last 24 hours, there have been 1,033 new reported cases of COVID-19. Again, as we remind you each day, that doesn't mean there have been 1,033 new positive tests today because there's a delay in this reporting, but that's the number of cases that have been reported to the Ohio Department of Health today. That brings the total number of cases that we've seen to 140,518. Now remember, that dates back to March 9th when we first learned of COVID-19 being here in Ohio. We do know that it was actually here sooner than that based on testing, and we got that information from the former director of the Ohio Department of Health, Dr. Amy Acton. Now, the Ohio Department of Health is reporting presumed recovered cases. What this means is these are people who experienced their COVID-19 symptoms for the first time 3 weeks or more prior to today, and they are still alive. So, based on that standard, there are now 118,443 confirmed, presumed rather, recovered cases of COVID-19. So that's about 84% of those cases. Now, our average positivity rate for the last 7 days is 3.5%. So that means for all of the COVID-19 tests that have been done in the last 7 days, about 3.5% of them are coming back positive, and that is below that World Health Organization recommended threshold of 5%. So that's good news. Now, in the last 24 hours, there have been 49 new deaths reported related to COVID-19. That's down from yesterday, which was a big jump. Yesterday, there were 87 new deaths reported. That's the third highest number of new daily deaths reported that we've seen here in Ohio. Again, also a delay on this information. That doesn't mean in the last 24 hours there have been 49 deaths. It means there have been 49 deaths reported to the Ohio Department of Health in the last 24 hours. So that total number now for deaths related to COVID-19 in Ohio is now 4,555. In the last 24 hours, we've seen 103 new hospitalizations. This is where we get into the more real-time data because the hospitals are a little bit better, a little bit quicker at reporting this information. And there are currently 651 people who are hospitalized related to COVID-19. Now, of those 651 people, 222 of them are in the ICU right now. So that's about 34%, about 1/3 of all the people hospitalized right now for COVID-19 are being treated in an ICU. And we've seen 23 new ICU admissions in the last 24 hours. The number of hospital beds that are available in the state is about 24% right now. Our occupancy rate at this time is 76%. So 76% of the hospital beds in the state are currently being used right now. Now let's take a look at the national and the global numbers, which are headed to some grim milestones of their own. As I mentioned previously, the U.S. is getting closer and closer to 200,000 deaths. We've seen over 1,300 reported in the last 24 hours, and globally, we are well over 900,000 deaths now, nearly 7,000 new globally reported deaths in the last 24 hours, very quickly approaching 1 million. These numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. So here are the exact numbers where they stand right now. In the U.S., there are now a total of 6,610,352 reported cases of COVID-19 and a total of 196,349 reported deaths related to COVID-19. So that's over 1,300 new deaths in the last 24 hours. Now, the U.S. has about 4.25% of the global population, but we've got about 21% of the reported deaths related to COVID-19 and about 22.3% of the reported cases of COVID-19 Globally, we are now at 29,664,114 reported cases of COVID-19. So at the rate that that's been increasing, it's quite possible we might see that number at 30 million tomorrow or the next day. And in terms of global deaths, we're now at 937,111, a big jump in new deaths from yesterday. That's 6,800 new reported deaths, so fast approaching that 1 million mark. Here in Northeast Ohio, we have reached a sad milestone as well when it comes to the event space, the event industry here in Northeast Ohio. The IX Indoor Amusement Park will be closing at the end of the year due to COVID-19. The IX Indoor Amusement Park has been hosting auto shows, indoor amusement parks, home and garden shows, and so much more for the last 35 years, but it will be closing at the end of the year because of COVID-19. In a release today, the IX Center said the global pandemic has decimated the event industry as well as many other businesses and has ultimately led to this decision, unfortunately. So the city of Cleveland actually owns the IX Center property, and they took possession of that facility in January of 1999, but then they leased it to the IX Center Corporation, which has been handling the day-to-day operations of the IX Center since then. So the IX Center today, it thanked customers, it thanked employees and attendees for 35 years of successful events and making memories. We asked you to share some of your IX Center memories with us. You can comment on our Facebook post with those. Also text them to us at 216-344-3300. You can also submit them to us in the WKYC app. Here's a couple that we got from a few people. Kevin Maletti texted in some photos of some monster trucks. So Kevin Maletti from Medina, Ohio, he's the promoter for the Monster Truck Throwdown, and he owns Maletti Industries. He said he was setting up for an event that was to happen there, the Piston Power Show, and while setting it up, it got canceled. So he was the last group to be in there, and that event didn't even get to take place at the IX Indoor Amusement Park at the IX Center. So he shared that memory with us. Lynn Mitchell said she had been to so many events there. It sort of was the go-to place for big events. She'd been to the food show, the free art show, the RV show, the quilt show, the motorcycle show. She is definitely a woman of many interests and talents. And even the Christmas Connection. And speaking of the Christmas Connection, Laura Radacci Reed shared a memory of finding her four-legged friend at the Christmas Connection, because that's where she got acquainted with the Erie Shores Greyhound Adoption of Ohio, and that's how she found her dog, Bandy. And if it wasn't for the Christmas Connection, if it wasn't for them being there, she would have never found her retired racing greyhound that she donated and now still loves. We've also got some of our favorite memories from the IX Center on WKYC.com, like when the Kardashian family was here and they got the IX Center all to themselves for one of their shows. We've got that on WKYC.com, plus the IX Center theme song, the IX Indoor Amusement Park theme song. I know you all know it. You can listen to it on WKYC.com. I won't sing it for you. Trust me, nobody wants that. But what you might want to do is listen to it on WKYC.com. That'll be a nice walk down memory lane. And again, keep sharing those with us so that we can share them and include them in our article and online and possibly in our 5 p.m. show today in the Clicking in Cleveland segment, which I will be putting together for you right after this. Now, former Cleveland Mayor Dennis Kucinich is criticizing the consultant's assessment of Cleveland Public Power. We talked about that this morning. There's a report on Cleveland Public Power that came out that Mayor Frank Jackson's administration was not delivering to City Council after they asked for it repeatedly. This report was completed in May of 2019. So now, former Cleveland Mayor Dennis Kucinich is saying that this assessment of Cleveland Public Power shows that the city is considering selling the city-owned utility, and the former mayor says that that should be rejected entirely, that there should not even be a suggestion of selling the utility. He says that these are options that are presented in the report, either privatizing parts of the operations or selling it. He's referring to pages 8 and 37. Now, this is an 80-page document published only by WKYC. You can read it for yourself on WKYC.com. That was obtained by our investigative team and our 3 News investigative reporter, Mark NAYMIK. So this document was put together by New Gen Strategies and Solutions. These were consultants paid more than $1 million to take a look at the utility and make recommendations about the future of the utility, including possible rate hikes. So Kucinich said the city of Cleveland was privately thinking about selling Cleveland Public Power, which was included in the consultant's report. And he said that Cleveland Public Power's contract, Kucinich said this, specifically called for a working relationship with the city throughout the term of the contract. So based on that, Kucinich is saying that to even be looking at the sale is a serious breach of faith. And he said it is alarming the administration attempted to conceal this from the council and the public. Now, when Kucinich was mayor, he supported keeping Cleveland Public Power in city control. He said that it would save customers millions of dollars over time. Well, today, Cleveland Public Power charges its residential customers rates that are 10% higher than the rates of its competitor, Cleveland Illuminating Company. However, Kucinich says that he believes that the utility is in better shape than it looks in the assessment. He says that Cleveland Public Power is sitting on a $30 million surplus and that the city is spending millions on these rate studies, $1 million on this first study, another $2 million expected to be spent on another study. Kucinich says that this consultant's report shows that the city doesn't know how to manage the system, so they're considering getting rid of it. Now, this could be some political jockeying happening here because Kucinich, potentially hinting at a possible run for mayor, said he is prepared to launch a campaign to save the utility. He mentioned banding together with like-minded citizens in order to make that happen. So we'll be taking a look at what will be happening potentially for Kucinich's political future. But as of now, he is saying he completely disagrees with that and very critical of Mayor Frank Jackson's administration for keeping this from the city council for so long until 3 News was able to discover this report and publish it this week. Now let's take a look forward at 2021. I know that's something lots of us are doing right now, but what I'm talking about right now is baseball. I'm talking about spring training because our Cleveland baseball team has released its schedule for 2021 spring training, and that will start February 22nd. The first game of spring training will be an away game for our Cleveland baseball team against the Cincinnati Reds. So Cleveland will be returning to Arizona's Cactus League. That's the plan in February of 2021. And there are 31 games planned for the Tribe. So 15 of those games will be considered home games at Goodyear Park in Goodyear, Arizona. 16 will be considered away games. But 2 of those away games will be against the Cincinnati Reds. And the Tribe shares the park with the Cincinnati Reds, so it will still be at Goodyear Park at their spring training stadium. So the Tribe will be kicking off their 2021 regular season after making it through spring training on April 1st. That will be on the road against the Detroit Tigers. They are on the road right now. The Tribe, unfortunately, lost to the Cubs yesterday, 6-5 in Chicago, but they've got a second shot tonight. They're taking on the Cubs in Chicago again tonight at 8:15. Now let's revisit the topic that's been on the tip of everyone's tongue, on the tip of everyone's fingers, because they've been tweeting about it all day, and that includes the President of the United States. President Donald Trump is apparently taking credit for Big Ten deciding to move forward with fall sports in October. Lots of excitement about this, including from the president. So he tweeted today, "Great news, Big Ten football is back. It is my great honor to have helped." So what he's referring to there is a phone call that he had with the Big Ten commissioner, Kevin Warren. However, sports reporter Britt Johnson from The Fumble was very quick to point out that Warren did not have a vote in the Big Ten coming back in October. That was strictly up to the presidents and the chancellors of the universities involved. So Britt Johnson tweeted right back at the president. She said, "Stop patting yourself on the back. You literally did nothing." Either way, Big Ten sports are coming back for the fall. That's happening the weekend of October 23rd, and people are very excited about it, clearly. That's it for your 3 News Now afternoon update for Wednesday, September 16th. I'll see you next on What's New, which you can watch for free in the WKYC app. You can watch that live at 5 p.m. Just open up the app, click on Watch, and it'll take you to the live broadcast. And then I'll see you back here tomorrow for 3 News Now. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Stay safe and be well. I'm Stephanie Haney.